Hi guys, it's your girl the only Monique with the double KK. In today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to cook party jollof rice. Okay, like I said in my previous video, I was supposed to use 10 kilo, but I will be making use of 8 because I have a student who paid me to teach her how to cook party jollof rice, and that's why I'm making use of 8. Then the remaining 2, she will use it as practical or for practical. So for tomatoes that we are going to be using, if you are based in Western country or anywhere, you can get these multi tomatoes. We'll be making use of 2.5 cup for 8 kilo of jollof rice, and for the bottle we'll be making use of 4 bottle of tomatoes. Okay, so that's it. The reason I sample two is because I have the cup one, not the bottle one. But if you want to buy, you buy the bottle one. So the cup one is the rough blend one, so it's not that heavy like the bottle one. So guys, I will be making use of basmati rice. President is one of the best rice for jollof. Okay, if you want to wash it, just add in salt and use hot water to wash and drain out all the water. Okay guys, for this recipe we are going to be using 9 big onions or true. Okay, I'm going to fry some, I'm going to blend some, and we'll be using Scotch bonnet. So these 2 onions is what we are going to be using for the final stage. So guys, this is it, the quantity of sunflower oil that I will be using. Don't just say, oh, it's 8 kilo, is a lot, let's use plenty oil. Plenty oil will mess up your jollof rice. That's why we are adding butter as well. So if you can lay your hands on this stock, please make use of this stock. Okay, but I will be using this because this is the one I have at home, but the other one is the one I normally use to cook party. So I will be making use of bay leaf. Guys, don't say, oh, I use 10 bay leaf, you are going to also use 10. We have different type of product of this all these seasonings. Okay, so you see this one that I'm sampling here is 2 different type. Okay, you can see the longer one is another product, and the short one is more cashy than the longer one. So for you to know that we are not using the same seasonings, please take note of it. Okay, so for ginger, I will be making use of 3.5 spoon of ginger, 2 spoon of turmeric, 3.5 spoon of thyme, and you see the spoon that I'm using to make the measurement. And you see this time is very catchy as well, this product, so I'm going to be using half spoon, but if you are using another product you can use 1.5 spoon. So I just added nutmeg. I'm adding 3 spoon of nutmeg, and I make use of 5 big ball of garlic, and I added 8 cube of stock, and I added 2 big onions. Okay, so I'm going to add water to dissolve it all. I added salt as well. Okay, as you can see, the amount of salt that I added was half spoon because of the number of stock. Don't add too much salt when you are using a lot of stock cube, because it will make the meat come out tasting really salty and awful. Okay, so I'm just going to, after mixing the seasonings, now I'm going to add in the meat. I'll be making use of turkey. Okay, turkey goes well for jollof and chicken as well. I love chicken, but everyone in my house prefer turkey, so I'm making use of turkey. So after cooking the meat, I'm going to sieve out the excesses from the stock water. Then I place a pot of fire, leave it to hot, and I added in sunflower oil. You see the amount of the oil. Okay, so that's the oil we'll be using. If you really want to cook that dried jollof, don't use too much oil. So I added in 6 garlic ball, and 3 big onions, sorry. So I'm continue to stir fry. I fry for about 30 seconds on a high heat. Now I'm going to add in my pureed tomatoes. Okay, so after adding in the pureed tomatoes, and now I'm going to add in the tomatoes. Okay, like I said, I use 4 bottle of these tomatoes for this recipe. The blended one is what I just added, plus Scotch bonnet and onions. So after that, I'm going to cover it to just steam for 5 minutes, guys. Okay, for me, I don't cook my tomatoes, except I'm using sea tomatoes to cook the jollof. If you are using sea tomatoes, you can pre-cook it, okay, before stewing it. But for me, if you are using these bottle tomatoes, you are good to go like this. So I just added stock cubes, and I'm going to add in 2 spoons of curry powder, sorry, 3 spoon of curry powder. You see the amount of thyme that I added because of the product that I'm using. So I'm going to add in 3 spoon of nutmeg. Okay. So after that, what am I adding again? I'll be adding bay leaf. Okay. And what am I adding again? I just added ginger powder, and I will be adding in turmeric. Turmeric is very good for jollof rice, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. So now I'm going to add in salt. Okay, so if it's your first time, we'll be careful of the salt. Okay, so we'll be adding it gradually. I'm going to teach you that. That's so now I just have to sieve out the excess out of the stock water. I've sieved it with the big strainer before, but now I'm using the more tinier one. Okay, to help remove it. Then I'm going to stir and cover it to cook. So I'm going to stir the taste. Now I notice salt is mixing, so I added salt. That's how you add it gradually. So for me, I cook jollof every day. If I want to add everything that I want to use, I know the numbers of it. But because I'm teaching you guys, I will be telling you how to get it. So after I stew it for about 5 minutes, now I am going to add in water. So I'm just going to add in hot water. I boil with my boiler. So then after adding it in, I will cover it to boil up, to boil aggressively. So this is the rice. As you can see, I strain out all the water. I dried it out. Okay, it's clean now. So guys, yep, now we are going to add in the rice. So guys, you can say, okay, which product, Monique, which product or seasonings are you using? When I'm cooking at party, because I'm not using what I have at home, I normally buy those seasonings, the right are made from Alibaba products. So you all know it. You can get it in Indian Afro chop or China chop. Okay. So after adding in the rice, yeah, I'm going to be stirring and stirring. Okay, guys. Normally, this my pot take 6 kilo of rice, but I want to tell you something why I am using it to cook 8 kilo of rice. You know, as someone who don't cook party food all the time, that's my student. If you are my student, let me see your hand in the comment section. Maybe sometimes you use your pot to cook excess rice. So I will teach you how to deal with it. Because for me, I don't like to use two pot to cook. Most especially when it's all this 10 kilo. Like when I want to use two pot to cook, I will know it's from 40 kilo of rice because I have a pot that takes 20 kilo of rice. So you see, every 5 minutes, I always come back to come and stir. So one part will be done and the other part will be half done. Even if you are using a very high fire, you see have to stir. That's what make your jollof come out really nice. I don't say another thing that I'm going to tell you. As you can see, you don't see water, but there is a lot of water. Oh, don't say, oh, there is no water again. Let me add water, because at this time when you taste it, it will come out really hard. Please don't add water. But it's only at this time you can add any like seasonings or stock cube. Okay, so I taste and know that it needed stock cube and salt. So it's only at this time you can add in stock cube, salt, or maybe you want to add curry or all those, because there is still water in it that is going to make it come out fully done. If the rice is already dried and you taste it, there is no salt, there is no stock, please don't add again. It's of no use. Okay, that's where people will not eat your rice. They will not be running stomach. Oh, they will not be feeling awful taste and be like, oh, what kind of jollof is this? So like this, there is still water. Now I am going to cover it again. So guys, let's come back again. Remember, this rice is a lot. Now it needs a place to breathe. It's not fully done, but you have soaked all the ingredients. But I am going to stir again to mix and cover it again to still soak, because I still notice some water in it. So after covering it for another minute, so I open. Now our rice is has already soaked all the ingredients. So, but I'm using a smaller pot for 8 kilo of rice. So if you find yourself in this situation, don't use two pots. Use one pot, because when you use two pots, the two rice will have different tastes, because you will end up managing the ingredients. So all you're going to do after the rice have soaked, like this rice is still hard, but it has soaked. It's half done now. It has soaked all the ingredients. So I am going to share it into two, but this pot will have the larger part. So if you are cooking excess jollof rice and it's not, the difference is not too much, don't use two pots because you are not going to get same taste. Cook it like this and separate it after it has soaked all the ingredients. Then I'm going to stir and put the other pot on another fire while I cover this one to also cook again. Okay, so guys, the only time I use two pots is when I'm cooking from 40 kilo. This is the second pot, so I'm also going to stir and cover it to come out really soft because it's already half done. You don't need to add water again when it's already on half done level. If you add water to jollof, you are messing it up. So this is it. I still come back to stir time to time. Now I'm going to taste. Everything is okay, guys. So before we proceed, I will beg you, please. I am down on my knees. It takes a lot to put this content together, but it takes a lot to just buy 10 kilo of rice to use to teach you how to cook jollof rice. Don't watch this without sharing. Please help me to share, help me to like, and also drop your opinion in the comment section. Okay, please, I am begging because I put in too much work in this. So let's check the bigger pot of rice. As you can see, yeah, at first before we share it into two parts, it was looking for a place to bread. Now it can bread, as you can see. So I'm still going to stir, then taste. Okay, guys. So after that, if everything is okay, I'm going to cover it. Then we prepare the onions and the butter for the finished work. I am not exaggerating, guys. If you want to do a get-together party, you want to cook 10 kilo, 8 kilo of rice, come and use this recipe. You're going to come back to thank me. I didn't add anything. I did plus and I did minus. Okay. So, guys, now the rice have soaked to the level that I really want. I'm going to add in 100 gram of butter to this small pot, and I will add in one normal size of onions. Okay, to it. So after adding in the butter, then I am also going to cover it. Before adding in the butter to your jollof rice, don't just let the rice to be 100% fully done. No, let it be on the level of that kind of fried rice level. Okay, before adding in the butter, because after adding in the butter, you are still going to cover it and it's still going to soft. So when you add the butter when it's already soft, it will make it over soft, too moist. Okay, so for party jollof rice, you have to make it scanty. For me, normally if I'm cooking jollof rice at home, I just love my moist jollof rice any day, anytime. So the bigger pot is set for onions, and the bigger onions is what I use for this big pot, and I will be adding in 500 gram of butter. Please, if you are cooking party jollof rice, guys, don't use margarina. I am telling you, margarina is good for jollof rice. I use it all the time, but for party jollof rice, butter, like jollof rice that like public are going to eat from and all that, 100% butter is the itch. It will give it the smell. It will make it the texture really come out good. Like there is difference between margarina and butter. So if you are cooking real party jollof rice, I will recommend butter for you. Okay, use good product of rice. Maybe you want to use the rice that you have not used before. For me, if I want to cook at party, I tell them buy President. But if the place they are based in, they don't have President there, or we can't get it, or you, before you use another product of rice to cook jollof rice, take 1 cup of the rice, cook first as a caterer or as anyone that want to cook food for public, to know if this rice take water or not. That is what I do. After cooking that white 1 cup of rice, I know the type of rice it is. You get me? So now the smaller pot is ready, and I, after adding in the butter, I place on a very high heat so that it will burn and give our party jollof rice the burnt smell. If you use this my recipe to cook jollof rice, you will never get it wrong. But if you want to use other product of seasonings after using all this one, like you want to add onga, you want to add the what's it called again, all those sachet jumbo, please, you will know that you are going to reduce the stock the number of stock you will be using, because those one are filled with colored and stock. Okay, but if you are just using this my type, you will never get it wrong, I tell you. So now we are on the bigger pot. Let's stir. So if you cook your, you don't need to pack too many things on your jollof rice. You, if you know the amount, some people be like, I cook jollof rice, it doesn't come out scanty like this. One, the reason why your jollof rice don't come out scanty like this is the product of rice you use. But if you are sure that the product of rice is very good, it means you use excess ingredients for the amount of rice you cook. So you have to be wary of the ingredients that you are going to use. For me, I know the amount of ingredients that I will use in 5 kilo, 2 kilo, 10 kilo, 20 kilo, because I cook jollof rice and fried rice, if not even every day. You get me? So it's my job. It's what I used to live. It's what I cook all the damn time. So my dear, don't just be like, oh, it's because of 10 kilo. Let you use all the tomatoes in the house. That is where you will mess it up. Or let you use all the onions in the house. Too much of everything is bad. Too much of ingredients is bad. Okay, and don't just be like, oh, so far make it red. So people focus on the color of jollof rice to make it be like, oh, is the color of the jollof rice is fine. Make, if I want to enjoy jollof rice, even if the color is not fine, let it have taste, I beg. Let it have taste, let it be sweet. And that is what I just teach you guys, how to make your jollof rice sweet, come out real delicious. The seasoning water and how you season it. Okay, and if you use too much seasonings, you will mess it up. If you use less seasonings, you will not get that party taste, that kind of rice they cook at hotel. So you just have to, like, know the product of seasonings and the amount to use. So you see how scanty my rice came out. This is after the next day I left it inside the pot, the remaining one, for you to know that I cook this rice for myself. My student take from it home, and it's morning now, so I just want to tidy on my light. So this is the pot. This is the benefit of using a non-sticky pot. I'm going to just wash it now. So how many of you will cook jollof rice without putting it inside the fridge and leave it to spend daybreak without sour? So if you cook it well, the dry jollof rice, it will not sour. So this is it. I'm going to clean the pot and I'm going to arrange the rice like this. This is how we'll be consuming it. And I got about 35 thigh of this rice.